welcome back. We are on to yet another episode of Our Lives Beginning and Always. I am super excited. I love this game and I cannot wait to continue. So we are on to the third memory or moment, I believe, as far as the series goes in stage 2. Super excited, so let's go on and get on into it. Alright, here we go. On to family. So let's give this guy a shot. Third moment. Alright, on to family. The sun warmed your skin from its place in the sky, and you closed your eyes, enjoying the mix of heat with the pleasant breeze that drifted past you. You and Lee had spread out on a blanket on top of one of the hills behind your house, and you had been relaxing there for a while now. Lee had come over earlier in the day, and while a range of activities had been discussed, from staying home to heading down to the beach, a picnic on the hill had been the choice you both settled on. A small spread was laid out in front of you, some bottled water, soft drinks, as well as chips and sliced fruit. You sat up and reached for a snack, listening to Lee talk away about the musical she had gotten to see a few days ago. Okay, right, Lee is our cousin. It was unbelievable. There was singing, dancing, and crazy stunts, and it was all done live right in front of our face. Maybe one day we could go together. I've got to see more shows like that. He smiled at Lee's enthusiasm, knowing how much she enjoyed singing and performing. And she was good at it, too. You had gotten a chance to hear her sing a couple of tunes, and you knew she put a lot of effort into it. You also liked to sing, but you weren't very good. You also liked to sing and had talent on your own, even like you weren't good at singing. That's super fun. I mean, I like singing, but I don't think I'm really good at it. That didn't stop you from doing it, though. I wonder if maybe we could put on our own show. Think of how fun it'd be. We could perform for our parents and ask our friends and some other people to come and watch too. It'd totally work. Yes, let's do it. I love that. Stage fright. I mean, I do have stage fright, but she seems like she wants to do it, and you know, I remember doing this kind of thing as a kid. You had actually thought about doing something like that before, but never had the chance to. Lee clapped in excitement and bounced on her balls of her feet, beyond happy that you were on board with her idea. I'm gonna sing. Do you want it too, or maybe do something else? I'll sing too. I'll dance, break the song. I'll do some kind of stunt, because the music, pick the outfits, do the makeup. I'll make a backdrop and some kind of stage. Yeah, I like doing this kind of stuff. Right song. I'll do backdrop and stage, I guess. Make a real show. I'll draw something, I'll paint something, I'll sew something. I guess we'd probably paint something. You thought about painting Kid back home. You could definitely use that to make something for the show. You just hope there'd be a large enough piece of paper or cardboard for a backdrop. Is there anything else that comes to mind? Comes to your head? No, that's all one more thing. Right. Write some songs. Oh yeah, I'd love to do some of the outfits. That's a great job for you. You always dress so fashionably. Is there anything else that's coming to your head? I can do the makeup too. Dance and sing. And the makeup. Good idea. You'll be great at that. I think that'll be an amazing show. You've got it pretty much covered. The two of you ran back to your house to grab the supplies you needed and dodged your mom's amused questions before heading back out to the blanket to get started. You set your makeup kit down, scanning the various products and envisioning how you wanted the design to look for the show. Lee and you discussed plans in detail, settling on a song first and then practicing out parts for the show. The afternoon passed quickly, the sun dropping lower and lower in the sky, and after having thoroughly worked out how the show was going to go, you decided to take a break. Oh, you know, we should have invited Cove to watch us practice our show. He could tell us if it's bad before we put on the real thing. That's smart. I guess that would be okay. I'm glad you didn't see. You said nothing. That's smart. We should ask him to watch us later. Okay. She's so adorable. It's too bad Derek isn't in the neighborhood today. I like him. Yeah, he's a good person. I really like him too. He's okay. He's kind of boring. I don't like him. Yeah, he seems like a good person. I knew you'd think so. But speaking of boys we like, what's the relationship status between you and Cove? Is it good? Oh. Yes, it's good. I don't know. He blushed and said nothing. You shouldn't gossip. He said, I mean, yeah, we're good friends. I'm so happy for you. But, like, really, are you going to tell him you have a crush on him or anytime soon, or what? Well, she's a direct person. No way, I'm not telling him. I'm pretty sure he already knows, but sure. I guess I'll tell him soon, since apparently that's the route we're taking. I hope so. You know he's totally into you. I guarantee it. He didn't say anything, wondering about the possibilities instead. The two of you talked a little more about Cove amongst other topics, and you found that it was nice having someone to speak with about these sorts of things. Finally, you both decided to pack everything up and head back for the evening. Lee talked excitedly about the show as you did, and you thought back on what you had already accomplished for it. You could definitely do with a little more practice, but what you had so far was a solid foundation for the performance. Oh, everyone looks upset. Oh no. I'm just gonna double check we're not gonna miss any important scenes from our CGI list. No, I guess not. Dinner. Upon walking through the front door, you were met by your moms and Elizabeth hovering around each other in the living room. Tension hung thick in the air as the three of them turned to you and Lee, frowning slightly. You had interrupted something. Exactly what? You weren't sure. Whoa, who died? What's going on? You looked between them and said nothing. Hello? Jamie, hello, Lee. Welcome back. The room fell quiet again, but no one quite knowing what to say. You felt incredibly awkward, but the silence didn't last long. You don't have to stop just because those two are here. There's no reason to try and keep it a secret. Elizabeth was mad, with her arms folded defensively over her chest, but your mom nodded in agreement with her. Elizabeth was asking about her parents. Her biological ones. Oh. The world spun around you at the news. You couldn't understand. Why was this happening now? When you glanced at Lee, she shuffled her feet uncomfortably, as though she didn't know if she should be there or not. Anymore. You didn't know either. Your moms had always been open and honest about the fact that neither of them had given birth to you or your sister. Oh, okay. So, I know that they would have to go through a process to do that, but I thought, maybe what they would do is have, one of them give birth or take turns, something like that, but evidently not. They went the adoption route, which is a good thing. It's good to adopt kids when you can and give them new happy homes. Moms would deal, but the details hadn't been fully explained before. It made sense that Elizabeth didn't know a lot about her biological parents and wanted to know more. You just had never thought you'd accidentally stumble into it. Elizabeth looked at your parents expectantly. She wasn't going to let the unintentional interruption derail things. We don't want to keep that information from either of you. It's your right to know your past, but we did want to wait until you asked us to hear it yourselves. Well, it's happening now, so... Your mom shared a nervous glance and Mom took a quick breath before speaking again. I adopted you from the Philippines when you were just a baby. Elizabeth dropped her arms, her eyebrows shooting upward in surprise. Wait, I wasn't born here? No, you weren't. You could clearly see that your sister was appalled by this information. You struggled even more with what to do or how to react. Am I going to have to pass some tests to even be a citizen? No, you were adopted in the country and we took care of things. You're already a citizen. You have nothing to worry about. I followed all the laws when it came to bringing a child into the U.S. Nothing can be held against you. Elizabeth sighed, frustrated with the information, but still far from happy. Who are my parents, as people? Why did they put me up for adoption in the first place? Ma softly put her hands over Elizabeth's shoulder, trying to provide some support before she gave her the answer. I'm so sorry, sweetie. Your parents were reported to have died. They didn't go into detail about the specifics of how, but you were an orphan. I wish we had better news for you, Elizabeth. Elizabeth was torn between emotions, her eyes filled with tears as she threw her hands in the air, settling on it and rage. Great, so I can never meet them, even if I wanted to. Not that I could have anyway, since they lived in another part of the world when they were still alive. Elizabeth turned her back on you and her mom's and stormed off, sprinting up the stairs to her room before anyone could stop her. I have to go and talk to her. Mom immediately started to follow her, but Mom gently put a hand on her arm and shook her head. We should give her a little space to process it all. Your mom's head hung low, but she stopped walking. With Elizabeth now gone, the two of them seemed to remember that you and Lee were still standing awkwardly off to the side. Sorry I had to see that. It's not how I expected it would have happened when the time came. But since we're on the topic of the day, Jamie, is there anything you'd like to ask? You deserve to know after all. Lee patted you on the back and gave you a supportive look. Want to know? No, I don't want to hear. Not right now. You couldn't answer. I guess we should know. Why not? Throw it out there. Parents will nod and sync to your reply, ready to talk. I can leave if you want things to be private. I want you to be here. I'll let her be here. She's a part of the family. I can do that. Lee shifted a little closer to you in support, and you were glad to have her there with you. It made you feel a little stronger somehow. Turn to face your parents again, preparing yourself for what they were about to tell you. Ma was the first to speak, her voice quivering with emotion. You were adopted as a baby, but 2 years after Elizabeth. We had a different organization at that time, and you were adopted within the U.S. We're sorry to tell you, Jamie, your parents also passed away. No other family member took you in, if there were any. That's why we wanted to wait until you asked. We didn't want to suddenly drop that in your lap. We wanted you to be prepared. Oh, well, we didn't get much of an answer, in other words. I can see now how, yeah, it might be a little bit frustrating. Like, I would have hoped to hear a bit more, but you don't really get much. We're sorry, Jamie. Lee gave you a reassuring squeeze on the arm to show she was there for you. Thanks for telling me, okay? You said nothing. It's not your fault. You didn't kill them, right? You started to cry. You were angry. Thanks for telling me. I did want to know, and now I do. Thanks for listening, Jamie. If there's anything else you want to know, all you have to do is ask. We'll do our best to answer any questions you have. How are you feeling now? Are you going to be okay? He watched you closely as though judging how exactly she should react to what was going on. I feel fine, but you didn't mean it. You started to cry, you held back tears, but you weren't fine at all. You grew inside. Rose said nothing. I don't know what the reaction would be. Like, I get Elizabeth's reaction. I would be sad to find out my parents are gone, but I'm also, like, I know my parents, I'm attached, I know I'm not adopted, so I can't imagine how it would feel, but I've heard that, some people, even if it's in anger or really genuinely are fine, just kind of, they have their family, it doesn't bother them much, or all the time, but that they say, to not really have them when you grow up from a baby with what you know is your family now. So, for now, I'd be like, we're alright. You spoke with a fresh tone as though you had to load off. Your mom smiled sadly, but you knew they believed you. No one seemed to have any words after that. Went up to your room. You needed to stay with your mom, so you wanted to get out of the house. You wanted to see Cove. Oh yeah, we should go see Cove. More than anything, in the moment you wanted to see Cove, no one could be there for you the way you could. I'm gonna go out just for a little while. I'll be back before it's really late. Mom's not understanding, trusting you to make the best call for yourself. Lee's footsteps echo from behind you, knew she was following you. Hey, stay, Lee. I want to go by myself. You encouraged me, said nothing. Yeah, I kind of want to see it by myself. Oh, okay. I'll wait for you here, but I really hope you'll be alright, Amy. Once outside, you stood across the street purposely, Co's house set in your sight. After raising a hand to knock on the door, it was only a few moments for Mr. Holden answered, giving you a broad smile. Hi, Jamie. You looking for Cove, I bet? Yeah, that's right. Cliff turned and whistled down the hall in the direction of Cove's room. Hey, sport, you have a guest. After calling his son, he turned back to you and tipped his head. He'll be here in a second. As promised, it didn't take long before footsteps echoed down the hall and Cove's head of green hair appeared before you. Oh, okay. He looked past his dad to see you standing there and smiled, pleased at your visit. Hey, Jamie. Hi, Cove. Can you hang out now? He gave you a placid smile, once you were all too familiar with. Sure. You kids take care, alright? I'll be around if you need anything. Mr. Holden shuffled back into the house and closed the front door, giving you some privacy. Cove tilted his head at you, his bangs falling into his face as he did so. What's up? There's a lot going on right now. It's nothing he didn't speak to. We need to talk to you. That's your dad. There's a lot going on right now. I'm just spewing out. I don't know. Cove looked at you in confusion, his eyebrows drooping. What is it? My parents, from before my mom's, died when I was a baby. Moms didn't say how. Maybe they don't know. But there wasn't any other family I could live with, so that's why I got adopted. Without having to say anything, Cove reached out and pulled you into a tight embrace. His familiar warmth enveloped you. I'm sorry, Jamie. His words were whispered comfortingly into your shoulder. Don't have to do this. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm glad you are. Still, he didn't let go. Can we talk somewhere else? You felt uncomfortable huddling around the entrance of Cove's house. That feeling didn't seem to be a problem, though. Yeah. He took you by the arm and encouraged you along behind him. You followed without protest. You headed toward the hills where you and Lee had spent the majority of your day. Things seemed so different now, only a couple hours ago. And you wondered how everything had changed so drastically. You took a seat in the grass beside Cove, who bent his knees and rested his arms on them before he turned to you again. Can you explain everything to me? Not softly before taking a deep breath and launching into the story. Cove sat quietly and listened attentively, nodding every now and then or taking in a sharp inhale. It took a long time for you to relate the details. Dozens of stars pinpointed in the sky as the night wore on. Silence settled between you as Cove sat quietly for a moment, contemplating everything you had said. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet, drifting through the night towards you. I'm really sorry about what happened to your parents. I'm so sorry. He stopped suddenly and took a deep, shaky breath, and you got the impression he was struggling with what was right to say. Know them and feel bad. It's just bad. You should be sure not knowing how you feel. Yeah, I guess it would be sad when we're getting to know them. I never find out what they're doing or what they're like as people. It's just all gone. Yeah, and kind of an idea of like who you are and your heritage and who you might be as you get older. You're not doing anything wrong. You know that, right? I think that you can be sad as you want for as long as you need, or you can feel okay about it whenever you want to. He sighed and ran a hand through his hair as he looked out over the ocean. I guess what I'm trying to say is, whatever you feel about it is how you feel about it. You don't have to force yourself to be different. Thank you, Cove, cried sadly. You cried relief. You nodded. Thank you, Cove. His words that made you feel better, and you knew it was true. You didn't have to apologize or make any excuses for the way you felt about it at all. Cole smiled at you a little, and you could tell he was trying to be comforting. And your moms definitely don't. It doesn't matter if you're not blood related. You're definitely family. I can see that, and I hope you can too. You felt the reassurance in his eyes. You stayed up on the hill together a little longer, looking out over the ocean and the stars that shone brightly above. After talking about the situation with someone who wasn't directly a part of it, you started to see things in a different light. Above all, you were glad to have Cove's support, and you knew you could count on him if you needed it. Hey! The sudden voice of your sister behind you made you jump. You saw her standing a little ways away. She walked closer, and you didn't quite know what to do or what she was planning on saying. Would you mind going? I want to talk to just Jamie. You can come back. It's not going to be forever or anything. Cove seemed equally parts concerned and skeptical. Leaving now wasn't a concept that thrilled him. I guess because it's family, she just needs to talk. I think, like, she's so aggressive, but, like, everybody handles things their own way. And I can get, family need to talk to family. She wanted to talk to you in private. It was obvious about something being important. You waited until the two of you were alone before fixing her with an inquisitive look. Liz was full of her arms, looking you over. Did moms tell you about your parents, too? I don't want to talk about it. My birth parents are also dead. Elizabeth broke eye contact after that. Why did you want to talk to me? Elizabeth raised an eyebrow at the question as though the answer should be obvious. I was worried about you. I was the one who brought it up, but I made you deal with whatever was left when I was gone. She sighed, glancing upward for a moment before settling on you once more. I wanted to ask you what happened without everyone breathing down our necks. That was pretty crappy of you to just bail. How amazed you noticed that was unkind. Thank you for thinking of me. I'm not mad at you. You're quite surprised by her question. I'm not mad at you. She stuck her nose up a little at that, but her smile was soft. I'm okay, Elizabeth. It didn't upset me. How are you allowed to be that mature? The lightning spirits in her were quickly gone as she slipped back into a scowl. You have to have been born in the U.S. to become president. What? You had never heard of that dream of hers before. She noticed your bafflement and continued. I get I was never going to be president, but it just feels weird, having stuff taken away, not even getting a chance at it. That's fair. It's like having to know that when I was born, I was going to have a completely different life. So different, I can't even think about what it'd look like in my head. Yeah, I guess it'd be very different for her, because she came from such a different place. I could have spoken another language, lived away from everything I've ever seen here, had someone else as my sibling. Then my parents died, and I was adopted, and the life I got became a totally new thing forever. I can't go back to what it was, even if I wanted to. A heaviness settled between you and the person who'd become your sister. I feel like that. You knew exactly how you felt. I don't really understand. Yeah, I get that. I feel like that. I can't stop wondering what my life would have been like if I wasn't adopted. There are so many things that could have been different. Elizabeth watched you seriously. She was still trying to make sense of this to you and herself. I don't know why today was the day. Nothing came up to make me ask the question. It was just something I had in my head for a while. When it was just me and the moms in the living room, I just kind of said it finally, and there you go. She shifted from one foot to the other, relaxing her stance just a bit. She also spoke more gently. Learning about them and what happened doesn't change how I feel about our family, Jamie. She smirked, facing you with sharp eyes. I've already figured a long time ago that moms weren't our biological parents. That wasn't news. Apparently one of them could have been related to you. Kevin and the two Elizabeth keep listening. That the real family I was born in would have made me decide that this wasn't my family anymore. If you had hoped you'd be free of my big sisterly status, don't think you're so lucky. She bumped her shoulder against yours playfully, her lips tilted up to the corners. Aw. First time she's been nice to us in a long time. Small softly, her jokingly groans protest after you hugged her. Looks like she needs a hug. Took a few seconds, but she gave you a quick squeeze in return. You'll always be my family too. I think I'm really lucky to be more funny. You'll always be my family too. Shockingly, she seemed pleased with how the conversation had gone in the end. Ready to head back home? It's been a long day. He gave her a nod. Come on, you two, let's go. We walked home together in comfortable silence down the well-worn street. The familiarity of it all felt nice. When you stepped through the door, you found your moms quietly sitting together at the kitchen table. Their heads snapped up and they got to their feet to meet you. Mom gave you a careful smile. We're so glad to see you. Hi, I'm sorry for walking away before. Everything's alright, you said nothing. I guess I'm sorry I needed to walk away before. That's alright, sweetheart. We're just happy to have you here again. Ma then came over and wrapped her arms around you and Elizabeth, giving you a tight hug. Didn't take long for Mom to join in, putting her arms around the both of you. We really couldn't have asked for better kiddos. We love you. More than we could ever say. You smiled at their comfort. Your square response were right. You switched me. You smiled at their comfort. I love you too. It was a nice moment and you enjoyed it for as long as you could. They both pulled back eventually and grinned at the two of you, and you knew then that you all had each other and you always would. Hey, I hope you're alright. Lee came up towards you, a soft smile plastered on her face. And are you okay, Elizabeth? Elizabeth rolled her eyes and huffed a breath, and you knew she wasn't used to showing the vulnerable side. I'm doing fine. Lee nodded, and though you could tell she didn't quite believe her. Well now, since we're all here, how about we do something together as a family? That sounds like an excellent idea. We should have some fun before the night's over. I love the sound of that. Okay. Cove looked a little bashful, likely over being included as part of the family, but he tried not to pay much attention to it. Why not? You hid the smile that threatened to tilt your lips, knowing that Elizabeth must have been in a good mood if she hadn't even teased Cove for being a part of it. And no matter what she could have said about it, you wanted him to be here. He was someone who was really important to you. Who's got a suggestion? It should be something we can do here in the house with everyone in the same room. Suddenly remembered the show you and Lee had been working on earlier. Maybe we can do our show. You were bummed you never got to do it after all. Maybe we could do our show. A show is the first time we're hearing of this. I'm intrigued. It would be amazing if you put it on for us to watch. Oh yeah, I need to see what you've cooked up. That'd be cool. Spotted Lee, who returned the gesture while bouncing on her heels in excitement. Take some seats and we'll get everything together. Your moms collected the chairs from around the dining room table and set them in a row in the living room, where there was enough space for the show. While they did that, you and Lee quickly gathered the supplies they needed and rehearsed the plan one last time. You listened through the song you had chosen one last time. After that, you quickly applied the makeup and looks you had practiced earlier. The backdrop you had prepared earlier was also ready to go, now that it was needed. Finally, you changed into the outfits you had picked out. When the two of you returned to the living room, everyone was sitting and chatting amongst themselves while they waited. The group quieted down when you and Lee stood in front of them on your makeshift stage. Lee was buzzing quietly with excitement beside you. Felt nervous all of a sudden. You pumped to the show. You were unsure how to feel. I would always be nervous. No matter how small the audience was, it was still all eyes on you. Okay, so welcome to our show. We only came up with it today, but we promise it'll be good. Stay quiet. Thank you for being here tonight. No refunds. You're going to be really impressed. Your mom showed encouragement, excited to see the performance. Then you nodded at Lee that you were ready to begin. Lee took in a deep breath, waiting the few beats it took to get into the song and started singing. Your outfits gave a special element to the performance. The makeup you had done on yourself and Lee made the show feel much more like a real production. When the performance was over, Lee took your hand in hers and the two of you bowed deeply together. Everyone gave you a round of applause and cheered for an encore. When you straightened yourselves up, you were happy to see that even Elizabeth was clapping for you. Bravo, bravo. You are so talented. Your family rose from the seats and came over to congratulate you more directly. You were beaming from ear to ear. Ko was the first one to approach, stepping up to you and Lee with a smile on his face. Nice job. Thank you. Hey, were you the one who did the makeup? Yeah, it was me. Ko smiled, content over his guess being correct. I thought so. It was good. You couldn't help but feel flattered that he could recognize your talent so easily. Marius gushed about how great everything was and thanked you for sharing it with them. Elizabeth was complimentary in her own way, although she did describe the show as cute, which he knew she meant as kind of kitty. He laughed it off, however, and were just happy that everyone had a nice time. In that moment, you couldn't have been more pleased to be part of the family you had. Oh, that's so nice. Alright, well that finishes family, and I think dinner has like a special scene in it in the next one coming. So I'm excited for that one. Kind of sad and a little bit more deep and personal as far as the family episode goes, and I have to say, I guess not wish I knew what being adopted was like. Like, I'm happy with my family, but I wish I could say something better about it, I guess. I'm just not as educated on it. I don't know as much about it. I think this game really does get into a lot of topics. It's very open and dynamic, and when they say choice-based, they mean choice-based. Like, you can literally pick everything and be anyone and everything that you want, and I think that's great. It's very open. It covers a lot of issues. It allows a lot of people to be different and play this game differently and be different people and to identify as who they are in the game, which I think is why, though I don't have very many interesting or difficult or a bunch of these kind of different choices to make, I'm pretty normal, average, whatever you want to call it. Other people's version of normal and living their lives in the way they are might be more in depth and have more going on. I'm just kind of following it based on the way that I personally am and how I want the game to go in the end, and I just based on my usual way of thinking. But I think it's amazing that it covers these deep topics. I think it's great for anybody to play, and I think even watching someone play it doesn't mean that you can't play it and have completely different outcomes and go about your own way and make your own character, because it allows you to be so diverse. So 100% would recommend checking it out, enjoying this, cozying up and just cuddling in and watching and playing the game yourself. It's a lot of fun, even just doing it with the recordings and getting into it, and it really does have an effect, and I can't wait to get into it more and see how things kind of progress over time as we develop that relationship and the connections and family and things like that. So we'll see, and hopefully I will see somebody else or everybody else or whatever you want to call it anyone who's watching in the next episode.